Hello, hi, my name is Zoe, and today we're going to talk about Gemini rising, also known as the Gemini ascendant. Your rising sign is so important. It's way more important than your sun sign. It is the style in which you do things. It's how you go about life. It's the lens in which you view the world. It's how other people see you. It's your mask, but also just like how you initiate and how you live. Make sure that you get your free natal chart. I'm going to post a link below in the description box. Gemini risings have a restless energy. They like to change it up and they hate when things get too repetitive and monotonous. Remember, Gemini is symbolized by twins. So they have a dual personality, which means they can exhibit behaviors that contradict each other a lot. So for example, they can be alert yet tired, or sad and happy at the same time, or joking yet serious at the same time. And they know that they are capable of so much, and that can leave them feeling unfulfilled. There's always something just out of reach. And when something or someone gets in the way of them obtaining it, they can harbor resentment. They approach life with curiosity and intrigue. They want to figure out how things work or how people work. They like having a lot of options and they hate the idea of being committed to just one thing forever. 'Cause I'm just a teenage dirtbag baby. They need to know that they have exits on their highway of life. Gemini risings are the jack of all trades, the master of none in the Zodiac. They can do a lot of things and are very versatile. They adapt to their situations. They're like chameleons. Gemini archetypes are the witness, the communicator, the perceiver, the journalist, the storyteller. They can get overstimulated because they are sensitive to stimuli. That mercurial energy is very connected to the nervous system. Lots of Geminis talk a lot. They're charming, witty, and social. They can be unpredictable. You bring your Gemini friend to run errands with you and you're like, okay, just wait here while I go get that one thing. And when you get back, they're gone. Not because they've abandoned you, but because they're looking at a nearby store. They are never where you left them. They can get super intrigued by one thing and then lose interest after a bit. It's really rare to meet a Gemini who isn't learning something or who doesn't have a lot of different interests at once. That doesn't mean they can't be really good at one thing. There's just always more to it. They somehow change up that thing. Geminis have a way with words. They know how to phrase things to say exactly what they want to say. They're intelligent and they're on top of things. They tend to navigate conversations really well, and they don't mind when they have an audience. In fact, so many Gemini risings are entertainers. The way they communicate is part of who they are. It's their identity. It doesn't have to be verbal. It can be through writing or singing or creative works. It's how they make their mark on the world. The rest of their chart will dictate their energy. For example, if they have a lot of fire placements or air, then their chart is going to be more flighty and unpredictable. They might have a harder time sticking to one thing or becoming an expert in something. But with more earth placements and more grounded energy, they're likely going to be better at sticking to facts or sticking to one thing and becoming an expert in one thing. They'll probably be more analytical. They can get very caught up in their thoughts and their mentality, so much so that they forget about what's in their heart and tuning into their feelings. In evolutionary astrologer, Geminis are always approaching things from a place of wonder. Sometimes they can create confusion without even realizing it because they have to gain clarity through those situations. In a past life, they likely had too much clarity or too much certainty, and they really couldn't move forward. So that's where this restless need to wonder comes from. Gemini risings often like eavesdropping on conversations. They tend to like people watching. They can get bored when they have to sit still in one place for a while. A lot of people think that Geminis are shallow or that they don't have any substance, but that is so not true. Because Geminis have this ability to understand something more in depth without needing to study it deeper. They don't do things in a linear way. They might get distracted more easily, but that doesn't mean that they don't care. They get really excited by certain stimuli, and they love to find solutions. Gemini risings actually find themselves actually putting a lot of energy into a person or a situation and then freaking out when it does not seem like it's working out, or that person doesn't like them back, or why it hasn't happened yet. They tend to like board games and reading mysteries. They're pretty easy to cheer up when you know what they're interested in. Because their descendant is in Sagittarius, they tend to thrive more with a person that can focus on the big picture, who can open up their eyes to more philosophical discussions. Gemini risings are so focused on all the little things and the details and the pieces of information, all the knowledge, that they do really well with someone who is able to open their eyes. The thing a lot of people don't get about Geminis is that they're observant. Sure, they love to talk, but they love to listen way more. They're like sponges, always absorbing information through conversations and interactions, through books and things that they read, through social media. They have a lot more experience because of this. And that experience is the Gemini superpower. Geminis tend to get a bad rep because they're very misunderstood. But Geminis can be very mature and stable. They just have a lot more going for them. Gemini risings can often get away with saying things others can't. They tend to be quick to respond. Gemini risings have a mental outlook, not an emotional one. They are as sweet as apple pie, but that doesn't mean that they approach things that way. Sometimes that means that they handle very emotional situations in a very analytical or factual way, especially relationships. They can sometimes have a chip on their shoulder because they tend to know more than other people. Gemini risings see things in a multifaceted way. It's complex. And it's common for them to look different each time you see them. They're also really good at impersonating people. They tend to cheer people up with their energy. And sometimes in relationships, their partners can forget that they are real people and that they have real feelings and it's not just surface level. Gemini risings don't tend to get super angry, but they do get irritable, especially if they are forced to be in one place for a really long time. It's really common for Gemini risings to like to travel, or they move around a lot. They also tend to get married multiple times. One piece of advice that I read that might help a Gemini rising is to keep your statements very concise, short and clear from the heart, and then follow them with silence. Make space for your heart to be heard. When Geminis actually do get angry, they tend to use their sarcasm or weaponize their words. I would look at where Mercury is in their chart in order to know what stimulates them. Thank you so much for watching this video. Make sure to subscribe to my channel if you liked it, and comment below if you are Gemini rising or you know a Gemini rising. Is this accurate? Is there something you would like to add? I would love to know in the comments section, and make sure to like this video. Also, if you would like a reading, you are welcome to go to zoethepsychic.com. Have a wonderful day.